Talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies? I'm out of here. I like running better. Welcome back, YouTube viewers, to another video. So, today is something I've been wanting to get off my chest for a long time. I've made it no secret that I really don't like the Sonic movie universe. I think it is in fact terrible. And nothing, I think, well, whether this is worse than the Knuckles show or not, I'm not sure, but I think the second Sonic movie is a cinematic disaster. I remember seeing this when it came out. I was so excited for it because I really enjoyed the first one when I saw it in theaters. Looking back, it's not that good, but it's fine. But I was super excited to see this. The marketing, all the billboards, it was everywhere. I was eagerly sitting in that theater, waiting for something cool to happen. And I just sat there, disappointed endlessly for 2 hours straight. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen. That'd probably be the Ninjago movie, which deserves its own video. But outside of two parts, maybe a little bit of other things, this movie is just plain awful. And just so you know, the two parts that I did really like, the supersonic scene and the shadow post-credit scene, those were spoiled for me. I never even looked at any videos in this movie. I was trying to avoid spoilers, and I just randomly got recommended Sonic Movie 2 post-credit scene, Shadow the Hedgehog, and a guy showing off the supersonic action figure they released in that Death Egg robot toy thing. But yeah, way to spoil the two good parts of the movie, Whippy. So without further ado, let's do it to it and dive into why Sonic Movie 2 is a cinematic disaster. Schifferil's production style. Okay, first I have to start with Sonic himself. Yeah, I know this image is from the first movie, but whatever. If this movie's gonna put no effort into itself, why should I put any effort into getting a screenshot from this movie? Sonic here is just insufferable. He's a little annoying in the first movie, but you know what? I can take it. But here, he's just the worst. I mean, he's not more morally awful like he is in the IDW comics, but he's just annoying. He's so childish and stupid and immature, and his whole arc is practically non-existent. This movie just lies to the audience. So, early in the movie, he's a stupid, immature superhero as the Blue Justice, which did not make me laugh at all. And his adopted father, which, okay, just one thing I want to say is that in the first movie, it was all about how Sonic just wanted a friend, and Tom was the one friend he was finally able to have. But here, he's treated as the Wazowskis' adopted son, which is really weird, and because he's, Sonic, and it just, well, wanted to retcon from the first movie too, which makes no sense. But whatever. So Tom tells Sonic that you're gonna need to grow up. You're gonna need to mature and be responsible. So you think, oh, it's gonna be about Sonic maturing and being responsible, and the movie sort of deals with that. But then at the end, he says, well, I've still got lots of growing up to do. So he just admits that, yeah, I should have grown up, but I think I'd rather just be immature for now. He'll just have to grow up in the next movie. I doubt he will though, because these writers are probably just gonna keep him stuck like this forever. On top of the fact that the first movie had one single fart joke. That was it. This movie has about three of them. And of course they all come from Sonic. Sonic is supposed to be a cool, cocky, confident guy. He's not this. He's not a childish idiot. That's what he got turned into in Sonic Prime, unfortunately. I mean, Ben Schwartz does a good job acting. I just hate his script, and the voice, whenever I hear it, I just think of Rise of the TMNT, and I love that show, so hearing that voice for this stupid character is not very entertaining. And combined with the fact that throughout the whole movie, Sonic is just not funny at all. Nothing he says is funny, nothing he does is funny, he's annoying. And then whenever you get some kind of dramatic moment, I just feel nothing. I'm just thinking, why do you want me to take this character seriously? You've spent so much time making him into a joke, I'm not going to take him seriously. Then there's Tails. This image is perfectly describes Tails' role in this movie. He does almost nothing. I remember being in the theater. It was the second day the movie was out for the first movie, and seeing that post-credit scene, everyone was so excited when Tails showed up out of a warp ring. And yeah, he had his game voice too, which thankfully they didn't recast Colleen O'Shaughnessy as you see in this movie. But he exists to deliver exposition, gets knocked out for a while, and doesn't show up until the final act so we can be there for the final battle. That's pretty much everything he does in this movie. He's so inconsequential. He's just there the whole time. People say that this shows Tails grow into a courageous guy like he's supposed to be, and yeah, I guess he's courageous, except he goes through no development whatsoever. And since he does hardly anything, again, why should I care about him? I have no reason to. And then there's probably, I think, the worst part of the entire movie is that Sonic and Tails' unbreakable bond of friendship. They're practically brothers, the way I see it, at least, from reading Archie and watching Boom all those times. But the way I see it, they're supposed to be brothers. And here, their brotherly bond of friendship comes from them beating two Serbian guys or something, I don't remember, in a dance battle listening to Uptown Funk. Yeah, that's really awful. And if they were gonna do this to some kind of stupid dance battle, why couldn't they have used a actual Sonic song? Have them play "It Doesn't Matter" or something, and have Sonic say, "Yeah, this is my favorite" or something like that. Anything, or maybe they could play "Believe in Myself" from Sonic Adventure. I don't know, just something to make this moment feel a little more substantial. And yeah, as I said before, Tails hardly does anything because once that moment is over, he just delivers some more exposition, gets knocked out, is there to save Sonic and Knuckles toward the end so they can fly to the final battle. Oh boy. This movie really does just make Tails nothing more than Sonic's useless sidekick. And I'm sure that's what he's going to be in the third movie. This movie lowered my expectations so much, I expect nothing out of the third one. Then there's Knuckles. Okay, so this is because in the most of this movie, Knuckles is actually handled pretty well. I think Ellis Mark put it best when he said that he goes for most of the movie. He's a tough but naive warrior, and then at the end he becomes a brain dead buffoon who can't pronounce words properly. And yeah, that perfectly describes it. Because yeah, in the movie he does get some jokes, stuff like him accidentally breaking Agent Stone's hand and having some problems understanding technology, but he's still this cool, tough warrior that won't back down and you're supposed to take him seriously, and I did take him seriously. But at the end, when he says, "Yes, I have conquered the base of the balls" or something, and says, "Ah, my victory chariot," and that's how he acts in the Knuckles show too. He's just an idiot now, and you people praise this movie for making Knuckles cool again. Yeah, until he becomes an idiot again. Boom Knuckles is better than this because at least I could commit to a tone. At least he was really funny. And again, yeah, this is just my opinion. Probably should have said that earlier in the video, but yeah, it's just my opinion. I hate this version of Knuckles because it's especially he may be even worse than Sonic and Tails because he's just randomly goes from being a good character to just being an awful one. I mean, and especially bad because I like this movie's version of the Knuckles is tricked by Eggman into fighting Sonic and Tails and then eventually becomes a good guy at the end. That's done well. But then she just gets turned into an idiot. People have said, "Oh, it's just Knuckles. It's showing him now that he's able to let loose and have fun," which that doesn't make any sense because he's supposed to be a tough, serious warrior. So why is he acting like this? Then there's Robotnik or Eggman, whatever. In the first movie, I'd say it was actually pretty interesting the way they handled this kind of origin for Eggman, where you get to see him don his red jacket for the first time and his goggles and is in the Eggmobile. You get to see his first meeting with Sonic. It's all interesting. It's done well. Here, even though they made him bald and give him a crazier mustache, well, he actually looks less like Eggman. I already mentioned this in my video on Eggman from earlier this month or last month, whatever. But here he's just crazy guy. Jim Carrey just played him up way too much. He just gets annoying and boring because he's just, haha, I'm gonna get you, Sonic, I'm gonna get you, I'm crazy, I'm robotic. That's his entire character. And again, at the end, when we're supposed to take him seriously as this big threat, well, it's true that he was actually pretty menacing for most of this movie. When he's just, I'm crazy. I don't really care that he's this big villain now. Okay, so what? And when he starts saying, first the world, universe, and the multiverse, then who knows? Maybe that'll be enough. I don't care. I mean, I did think it was actually a pretty good scene where Gunn tells him that he's still a nothing. He's a worthless man or something like that, and he says, oh yeah, I'm gonna show you just what a man I can be. I mean, the third movie is at least gonna look like Eggman, but I don't have high hopes for that. But he's still not as bad as Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. I'll give him that. Also, side note, I think Agent Stone is super weird and annoying and easily Eggman's worst sidekick. Once you count Starline, I don't know, but I miss the days of Snively. Norbot and Cubot and Boom are at least pretty great. Same thing in Archie. Eggman just can't get a good sidekick anymore, can he? It's not like they're legally not allowed to use Snively. They can use Snively. He's from Sad AM. They just won't. He'd be entertaining. Then there's that dumb wedding subplot. Even people who like this movie say it's terrible. Yeah, we all know it's terrible because ever since I first walked out of the theater, I already thought in my head a better way to do this. So there's a scene where Tom is at the wedding and he's getting a call from Sonic and he needs to turn it off. So you could cut out that whole earlier bit where he's talking to the fiance and saying how, yeah, you've got some nice wingmen there, man. You could cut that scene out. You could cut out most of this wedding subplot. You could just, the first time you see it, you just hear it mentioned, okay, we're going to a wedding, Sonic. And then you cut back to him later when he's actually at the ceremony that's happening. And then Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and Eggman show up through the warp ring. And then Gunn says, we knew that, they say to the wife or something, or to Tom, that we knew, to the wife, yeah. We knew that your brother-in-law, Tom Wazowski, is in cahoots with Sonic, and we wanted to catch Sonic. So now that we knew that at your wedding, it'd be the perfect time to find him. That would have worked. That would have made sense. But instead, it's, we knew Sonic. We knew a guy who knows Sonic would be here, so we catfished you into having a wedding. What? Couldn't they have just said, "Oh, this lady's just getting married"? Okay. Did they really need all of this? It just wastes time and adds to a really. The script is so bloated and is also so rushed at the same time. I don't know how they pulled that off, but they did. I just hope that in the next movie, this stupid sister character is either gone or is in it so little. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Oh, yeah, the dance scene. Yeah, I already talked about how terrible this is. So, well, I mean, also just, it's really weird because, okay, Sonic and Tails show up here, and then these these huge guys with beards and a knife or something say, "All right, now they've disrespected us. Only way to for us not to kill you is to if you beat us in a dance competition." What kind of a movie is this? Is this supposed to be funny? It's not funny, and you could say, well, it's super silly. Isn't that funny? And super silly can be funny, but that has to be what the entire tone is. I mentioned a while ago on a video I deleted now, but that Duck Soup I think is the funniest movie ever made. That movie works because the entire thing is silly. It knows exactly what it wants to be. It has a consistent tone all the way throughout. And it's much better written and paced as well. So its absurd comedy works wonders. With this, after we get this whole serious chase with Knuckles and Tails telling Sonic about the legend of the Master Emerald and all that stuff, we just cut to this. I don't understand that at all. Oh, so I guess since we're on the topic of stupidity, now would be a good time to mention the stupid Wade character. So, when I watched this movie in theaters, I was wondering, who is Wade? Who is this cop guy all of a sudden? Why is he in this so much? And he's really not funny. He's just annoying. And then I rewatched the first movie and I realized, oh yeah, I remember this guy. He was just there in a few scenes for a few decent laughs, and then he was gone because he wasn't that important to the plot. He didn't need to be in the bunch. But now they just shoved him into it. And of course, everyone's talking about how the Knuckles show is just the Wade Whipple show because that's what it is. Why are these filmmakers so obsessed with his character? He's not very funny. And it's just whatever. Okay, conclusion. I have such low expectations for the third movie that it will probably be my favorite of the trilogy just because it will surprise me by practically doing nothing at all. I'm really worried about how Shadow's going to be handled in this movie. He's voiced by Keanu Reeves. Oh boy. Yeah, I think this is some terrible casting. Look, I wasn't expecting what's his name? Hayden Christensen to be cast as Shadow, but after that news blew up all over the internet and everybody wanted it, and they said after that they still didn't cast Shadow, some people were hoping that, maybe after hearing all of that, they will actually try to cast him. And who knows, maybe they went to him and he just declined, but I don't think he would. I mean, he doesn't really have much of a reason to. It's not like he's super famous. Not like he's some celebrity saying, well, I only do high profile work. I don't want to do Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I don't think that's what happened. They probably just decided, let's go to get Keanu Reeves because he's famous and has a deep voice or something. And I know this movie's either going to make Shadow some super stupid, annoying edgelord who is really hard to take seriously, or they're just going to make jokes about him nonstop and it'll be also super hard to take him seriously. And I know they're going to completely ruin his backstory. I mean, that post-credit scene was still cool to see in the theater, but it's just... People, you can like this movie if you want. I can't imagine why you would like it, but all I'll say is this. It's the same thing I say to people who like Sonic Prime and IDW comics. You can have your own opinions, you'll probably be offended by this, but you need to raise your standards. Sure, entertainment is subjective, but there is such a thing as good writing and bad writing, and this movie is horrible in that regard. Also, it's a pretty horrible adaptation too. Yeah, it has. I mean, this. Okay, I'll say the CGI is really good for this whole movie. That's the one thing I can compliment. But yeah, it has the Labyrinth Zone. It has Tails and Knuckles. It has the Master Emerald and a Shadow post-credit scene. But so having those elements doesn't make it good. And I mean, look no further than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. Anyone remember that movie? It's not awful or anything, but yeah, it has Krang in the Technodrome. That's cool, but it doesn't really do anything interesting with them. So why should I care? It's just nostalgia pandering. I don't care that this movie has Sonic say, gotta go fast. Because one, Sonic has never actually said that, not even in Sonic X. He said it once in the Lego Dimensions game. You know, where the whole point of that game is just be some silly fun. And I think that game is silly fun. But what am I supposed to get out of that here? It just sounds stupid when he's supposed to sound serious. Well, my next video will definitely be a lot more positive than this one. And my last two videos are pretty positive. Because I don't want to be super negative, but I just had to do this video. So, that's all for now. And as always, keep on juicing.